All right, I think we're recording. Thanks so much for joining. I'm Mila Little. I'm a Ruby ambassador with Plexus, and I'm so excited. I was thrilled when I got asked to host this Zoom call today. Whoop, sorry. I've never done a Zoom call except for just like my own team, and so this is my first one kind of outside of just my team. So you guys are my guinea pigs, and I hope it goes well. I have you all muted. If you would like to join in the conversation, you can just unmute yourself and you can join in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you, hopefully successfully. You guys see it okay? Awesome. Okay. So there we go. Here's what I have on the agenda today. So I took some recommendation. A couple people had asked about a few different things for me to go over. I'm going to go over a few of those, and then I just added in a few. So it's kind of random, just based off what people had asked, and then a couple things I just wanted to throw in there. And so we're going to go over reaching out. Some of you have been asked, I had some messages about how to reach out, like authentically. There's so many different ways to reach out. Questions about some team pages, power partners, and then balance between momentum and excitement and being exhausted and overwhelmed. So finding a balance between all of that is tricky. We're going to see if we can figure it out. So first off, reaching out authentically. There was actually an amazing video. I should have written down her name, but I can even post it in the comments. That it was actually just called Reaching Out Authentically by an Ambassador, and she just gave lots of great tips on how to reach out to people without sounding salesy, without being pushy, and it's just being. Basically, it just boils down to being you. Whenever you're reaching out to somebody, just be you. And I actually have a hard time because I hear people give me examples on like what to say when you reach out. So say this, don't say this, say this, don't say this. And I really, on this part, I just wanted to make sure, watch those videos, read those books, but in the end, be you. I have a hard time sometimes. I'll listen to an ambassador give some of their tips. I'm like, oh, that sounds awesome. And then I go to like put it out there and it's just not me. And so some of those one-liners, I actually had my next door neighbor. He's into sales, and he's just like, whenever you're going to buy, he was talking about buying a car, and he's like, I just want you to be real with me. Like, be straight up front. Don't beat around the bush. Be real, and don't use those silly, dumb one-liners. But not dumb one-liners. Some people use your own one-liners. So if it's not something that sounds like you, make sure that you just make sure you're sounding like yourself, and you take all those tips and all those advice from other successful ambassadors, and then you kind of morph it into something that you would say that people would they can tell that it's coming from you and not just some kind of sales pitch. So when you're reaching out authentically, there is a really awesome video that I will post that video that gives you some great ideas. But remember, in the end, still make it be you and sound like you. So as you're reaching out, I didn't want to go into too much detail on that because there's a whole video that's awesome, but be you whenever you're reaching out. Next, team pages. This is a question this is actually something that came up on my team quite a bit. They say they've got these team pages, but there's not a whole lot of interaction, or there's not a whole lot of activity. And how do you get that activity? And so a few things. Number one, I would just make sure you're setting a good example. So by setting a good example, you are commenting on your upline's Facebook page. You are commenting on people's posts. You're modeling what you want your team to do. So whenever you start your team page, just make sure that you're staying active. You don't just solely do your team page now, that you're still active on the other team pages too. And again, I know that Jacqueline Stanley, our upline, she actually usually says, I think different teams have different numbers of like, when do you start your team page? And she always says, once you have 5, if you have 5 ambassadors under you, whether they're just business or whether they're just wholesale or whether they're interested in the business, go ahead and start a team page just to kind of start the camaraderie and getting people to know each other, kind of team bonding. It's almost better to start small, and then as you grow, you feel kind of more like a family. So another idea, if you aren't comfortable with starting your own team page at such an early stage, you feel like you may be too small, lock arms with a sideline. There are some really, really great groups out there that maybe somebody, either one of your downlines or maybe one of your sidelines, pick, get maybe a power partner, and you guys could have the same team page. I actually started out with Jacqueline Stanley. We had a team page together with another ambassador, and once she started growing, my team started growing, we separated, and now we have, you can always separate later, but I would recommend starting early, just kind of start that team bonding, and like I said, just get started. Maybe, like I said, Jacqueline always recommends 5. So that's kind of what I have recommended to my team as well. As for activity, my big thing, just do some, so if you're not getting a whole lot of interaction, do some bonding activities with your team. Do some product knowledge. That's great for anybody and everybody to look over. And then another one that I'm like, well, this makes sense. Just ask them what they want. See what your team, if they're just wanting, motivational stuff, if they're wanting training, see what they're wanting and make sure you're giving them what they want and what they need. Just by asking, maybe put a poll out there and say, hey, what is it? What areas do you guys need help with? Do you need challenges? Do you need support? Do you need team calls, conference calls? What is it that you might need or want? And just try to make sure that you're kind of hitting your whole audience there. So that will hopefully help with your activity and just kind of get the ball rolling for your team, for team pages, because I had just a few questions about when to start, how to get activity. So hopefully that will help just a little bit. Next, power partners. Okay, so this is one that I actually just threw in there because I feel like it has been a crucial piece to my success with Plexus. And like I said, I didn't really give too much of an introduction to myself because I feel like I'm always talking to my own team, but some of you might not know me as well. But I was a school teacher. I taught for 7 years, and this is my first year of being able to stay at home with my kids. I have 2 daughters, and then 1 on the way in about 5 weeks. I'm going to have little boys. So one thing that I think has been so helpful, maybe the most important part in my success would be my power partners. And power partners are just, you can see the accountability of your accountability increases like 95% of reaching your goal when you've got an accountability partner. So sorry, that didn't make your accountability partners increase your probability of reaching your goal by like 95%. And so having somebody there to help you through it and to actually, I wrote down some things that I always think, I go to my power partners for so many things, and I go to them when I'm happy, when I'm sad, when I need help, and I actually Googled last night when I was kind of looking for some more input on this, it says top 10 reasons besides the 95% increase of reaching your goal. Here's top 10 reasons to get power partners or have an accountability partner. 1 is just the accountability. 2, for the support and encouragement. 3, for clarity and questions, especially right now. There's a lot with Plexus where I'm constantly going to my power partners and saying, hey, do you guys have any advice for this? So I'm not maybe going to the full team page. I'm going to my power partners and maybe asking some compliance questions to them. Number 4 is routine or reminders. So, hey, do you guys remember when the call was today? So going to them for kind of routines and reminders. 5, they can celebrate with you. They get it. They've been in your shoes or they are in your shoes. And so it's someone that you can celebrate with. Number 6, loneliness. Some of us may work a lot of us right now probably are working from home, and maybe kids are off at school or you don't have kids, and they say, I'm just here working at home and I'm by myself and I need an adult interaction. So it just helps you kind of feel like you've got this friendship that gets rid of the loneliness or helps the loneliness. Number 7, extra resources. This is huge. My power partners and I have gotten on our each other's team pages, and we don't do anything on each other's team pages. I don't comment or anything, but they give me great ideas of maybe challenges that I can do with my team. If you have an ambassador that you really that inspires you or motivates you, just say, hey, could you add me to your team page? I would love to see how you run your team page, because everybody has a different dynamic and team culture. So it's really awesome to see. I would say that's huge. That way it saves you time too. You're not always coming up with things to share on your team page. You can use your power partners and get ideas from them. They've also got, like, some of mine have really awesome challenges that they said, hey, this worked really, really well for my team. I would do this and change this. And so finding people to kind of give you new ideas without reinventing the wheel yourself, I think is great. Number 8 is just for feedback and for focus. So you're kind of counting on them for, actually the other day when we did a business blitz where we sat down for an hour and we reached out to as many potentials as possible. We reached out. And we kind of had a group doing it, and everything went really, really well. And I had one response that came out of, I think, the 20 or so that I sent out in an hour. I had one response that came back that was not very kind. And I immediately was just like, oh my gosh, like I don't handle that well. And I just felt like I went downstairs and I was talking to my husband. He's also my power partner. He's my encourager. But I went to my power partners and I just said, oh my gosh, you guys, I just got this response from a potential, like I know that you've got to just roll it off, and you've got to have rhino skin in this multi-level marketing business. But can you guys help me? Like, did I say something that would have been offensive? And they were amazing. It's just somebody to go to when you just feel like, oh, I've just messed up. It's somebody to go to just kind of share. They've been there. They know they can. I actually went to bed feeling much better than I would have if I didn't have those power partners to reach out to. So just asking for their feedback is huge. Number 9 is just fun. They make it more fun. Absolutely. You're pushing each other, encouraging each other. And 10, it's new friends. It's a friendship that I had never expected, and I'm so, so thankful for with Plexus. And so those are 10 reasons of maybe getting, reasons to get get on like a thread with a power partner if you haven't already. And a lot of people say, how do you know who do you get on these, how do you start them, who do you get on, who do you choose as power partners? And mine actually, Jacqueline Stanley, again, my upline, she put a thread together of some of us that were at the same rank. We were all going for Ruby, I think. We were all senior gold. We were going to Ruby, and there are 5 of us. And 5 of us. And she put us on a thread, and she says, hey, you guys kind of share the same vision. You guys are about the same rank. We were sidelines. None of us were on each other's teams. So they were all down, different. They were all sidelines. And she put us on a thread and just said, hey, thought you guys could bounce ideas off one another. And it does take some work off of Jacqueline too. So we're not going all to her. When she's trying to manage her whole team, we were able to go through each other, and that's how it started. She put us on this thread and say, hey, if you want on this thread, great. If you don't, you can take yourself off. So here's what I would recommend for you. Sorry. If you do not have a power partner yet, maybe there's a few things. Maybe look for somebody on the Diamond Domain team page, or on it can be within your team too. Look for somebody who maybe shares the same vision as you, about the same rank, could be a sideline or a downline or upline. And, maybe just come out and straight up ask, just say, hey, I see that we're working on the same goals. I would love to kind of lock arms with you. I'd love to get some ideas from you. Look for somebody who motivates and inspires you. And I think you'll be so, so glad you did. And what I would recommend for you to I even said how, so you can create them. You just reach out there yourself. And even one thing that's kind of worked well for my team, we've kind of started this little bonding that's, is just starting different threads for your team. So that's what Jacqueline did for me, or for our team. She created a thread of us that were shooting for Ruby. And so we can bounce ideas off each other. So you could do this for your team. You could just I've actually started a going for gold thread for my team. And I put those that are in the similar, they're at the same rank and working toward the same goal. I put them together, and sometimes it gets used a lot and sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't mean it's a fail, but it's always there for them to fall back on. So IPA threads have been really great. That's helped. I feel like that's kind of brought some of my team closer together. So those ones, it's kind of like a runners or rock star thread. Those that are really hungry for more and wanting more, get them on a thread together and just say, hey, you guys can take yourself off of here if you'd like, but I know you guys so you guys can initiate it for your team. You can initiate it for yourself. You can kind of put a thread out there. But I highly, highly recommend that, one, you find you some power partners. Probably more than one would even be better. And 2, you encourage your team to do the same. And whether that's you starting it and initiating it, or whether that's, you just putting it out there and hoping that they will start some themselves. I think that's huge. Okay, so I think I've got another slide on this part. There we go. Oh, wait. No, I think that might be it. Okay, yeah, that was it for the Power Partners. So Power Partners, I would say, was probably one of the most crucial pieces of my business. It's been awesome. And then lastly, sorry, I've got balancing momentum and exhaustion. I thought this was a great topic someone recommended for me to go over. And it says, I thought this picture was perfect. It says, let your brain breathe. It too needs to rest, and it needs rest and relaxation. I could not agree with this more. This is definitely, multi-level marketing is it's a roller coaster ride. And I told one of my downlines that she was kind of, she was having a hard time. And I said, hey, at least once a week, I'm ready to just quit. I'm ready to throw in the towel and give up. We get overwhelmed. There's so much going on. We're busy. So you're not alone at all. So more than anything, just know that you are going to be exhausted and you are going to be ready to just kind of throw in the towel. So here are some things that, one, it's completely normal. Two, how do we get over or get through these hard times? So I kind of broke it up into two things. How do you get through it? And then how do you help your team get through it? And so first we'll start off with you. How do you get through? We've got this momentum from, everybody was working hard to qualify for Leaders Retreat. We've been pushing for 3 months. The last week was nuts, and we get there, and some of us get there, some of us are really, really close, and we're super excited and we're exhausted. And then a day or two later, Plexus puts out this new challenge for us to go reach out and get 3 new ambassadors and 3 more customers. And you're like, oh my gosh, I need a breather. So I get it. I feel like I struggle with that too. But here are some suggestions that I have. These were actually from, this first one, I love it. It says, you want to quit for 24 hours. Don't quit all week. Don't quit for a long period of time. But if you want to quit for 24 hours. Chances are you probably even need to quit for 24 hours. I think that was from either Jen Hawkins or Emily Roberts. And I thought that was great. Like, you need a break. Rest is so crucial for your success. You will run yourself into the ground. So sometimes you have to fake it till you make it. And if you are about drowning, you put that post out there for your team to inspire them or motivate them or help them, and then you step away. It might just be stepping away and finding. Actually, I'm hoping I'm not going over. I might be going over to my next slide. But finding what is it that works for you that can help you get through those tough times. And so when you're feeling overwhelmed, make sure that you're still encouraging and motivating and inspiring your team, challenging your team. So if that's just 1 post a day or every other day, so you've put out what you kind of feel like you've done your job, you've kind of fed your team a little bit, and then take some time for yourself. Another thing I thought was awesome, it says, work yourself out of a job. Okay. The diamonds are probably like, you're never out of a job. You're always working. But create leaders on your team. So if you want to make sure you're just leading by example. And if you do have to quit for 24 hours, or if you have to walk away for a little bit, your team, you've already built into your team what they need to keep going. So hopefully you don't all crash at the same time. Some of you are going to be hitting highs and lows at different points. But I thought that was really good. I think it was Jen Hawkins that said, work yourself out of a job, create leaders, call your ambassadors up and say, hey guys, I need help. Could one of you post a video on this? Could somebody help me with this? So use your team, you're creating leaders, and don't feel like you have to do it all alone by any means at all. I'm gonna go to the next slide because I hate to go over. Okay, no, never mind, I'm gonna go back. Okay, so here's some ideas. Oh yeah, here are some ideas for to help you kind of catch your breath a little bit. So 1, just step away from your phone, step away from your computer, get away from it, put it down. I don't know how many times I'll be like at nighttime, especially like, okay, 1 more response or 1 more look, and I lay my phone down, and then as soon as I lay it down, it's ding, and I force myself not to look. I'm not going to look at it all that night, or put your phone on silent, whatever it is. So walk away. Take time for yourself. I've actually done just on Sundays, because I felt like over the weekend was when I felt like I needed to get the most done. And that was my family time. I was taking time away from my family. So choose a day or a night, a weekend, whatever it might be, to literally step away. Maybe don't even, you don't have to post anything at all that day. But Sundays are kind of my day. They're my family day. I might post in the morning something for my team or respond to something. And then I try to put my phone away. Otherwise, you're just tempted to be on it 24/7. When I was student teaching, I was told I was never going to make it as a teacher because I couldn't ever quit until it was done. And that was so true. So it's something I struggle with. I feel like I have to keep going and going. And so, like I said, just step away, turn it off, get away from it. Another thing you could do is just read a professional development or personal growth book. Reach out to an upline, reach out to somebody, tell them, I'm drowning, help. And then, maybe sometimes for me, it's just creating a challenge for my team. It's, I'm feeling like, I'm down, and I think I need some motivation. I need some inspiration. And so I'll get on a video and I'll do something that inspires me that I'm hoping can kind of inspire my team, that will be contagious. So it might be stepping away, or it might be engaging and going all in. So, and it might be different each time. So kind of figure out what you feel like you're needing, and to help you get through that exhaustion. One other thing, I feel like I had it and it just left me. I might think of it in a minute. Oh, I remember. Ask your team. You guys, I feel really, really bad. This is something I've just learned in the past month, because I've had 2 ambassadors that were very, very excited. They were gung-ho, they were going, and I had no idea that deep down they were running on fumes. 2 people reached out to me and just said, I'm drowning. Like, I need to rest, I need a break, I need something. And I felt terrible, because in my mind, I'm seeing them do all these things and I'm like, oh, they're just rocking and rolling. So ask. So reach out to some of your level ones, or some of your ambassadors, and just say, hey, I've been thinking about you. How are you doing this month? Reach out and ask them, and then give them what they need. That actually kind of leads me to my next thing, is for your team. So reach out to them, ask them. If they are excited and they are going to the top and they are on a roll this month, run with them. Give them things that will motivate them, that will inspire them, that will keep them going and keep that fire going, okay? So run with the runners, and then empathize with those who are struggling. You get it, you've been there. So give them what they need. Maybe they just need like a little motivational thing. Maybe it's just a picture with a quote on it. They just need you to listen to them. So kind of base it off of what you feel like your team needs. Ask them how they're doing, and then give them what, based off of where they are. If they're on that momentum and they're flying, help them continue that momentum. If they're exhausted, give them ways to, get through that. Like we kind of talked about, they're stepping away or going, pushing harder, whatever it might be. So that's kind of what I have and it's going to change day by day, minute by minute, but I feel like, just taking some time for yourself and kind of figuring out what you need and what your team needs will be very helpful. And then, okay, so I think the last about 10 minutes or so, how do you find balance for yourself? How do you find balance for yourself and or help your team find balance? So I'm going to leave this open. I'm just going to have this and then some Q&A. So if you guys have, I would love feedback on how you get through some of those, how you get through that balance of, the highs and the lows. Does anybody have recommendations for what they do for themselves or their teams? I'd be happy to. You can unmute yourself. I won't unmute everybody, so we don't have background noise, but you guys can unmute yourself if you'd like.
I guess my thing would be, I've said it before, I say it all the time, you have to go back to your why. You always have to, we've always been, why that makes you cry. And your why is constantly changing with your journey. As your journey changes, your why changes. So you always need that why that you can go back to when you're struggling. Why did you start Plexus? Was it for, the health benefits? Are you seeing those benefits? And was it for the business side? If so, how much is that extra $200 helping you a month? Or, you always want to refer back to your why. when you're struggling, because I think that's what keeps you pushing through and that's what keeps you motivated.
Awesome. No, that's great. I think a lot of things, just going back to your why, is huge, huge. And if your why doesn't make you cry, you're right. You need a bigger why. So I love that. That's great. Actually, you guys can continue to share it. Does anybody know how to, I'm going to take it off of this PowerPoint because the next one's just a Q&A slide too, and I'll let you guys share that. Yeah, that's, anybody know how to take off the PowerPoint in the background so we can just see our faces?
If you go up to options and then at the top, you should be able to exit screen. On your,
or click to share screen and just stop sharing. Yeah.
Mine. I remember Carrie had a hard time with this last time. Mine just says, I don't feel like this is going to be it. Let me see if I can.
At the bottom, does it say share screen? Can you click on that and then?
Oops. It doesn't say anything. Oh,
I don't have.
wait. There we go. Did that get it? Okay, thanks. Okay, sorry. Anybody else have any? So Tanisha said your why. Going back to your why to get through the highs and the lows. Anybody else have stuff that you do or you encourage your team to do? Nicole, let's hear it.
Even just coming here to do the Zoom call with Tracy, just being around the energy and really kind of reconnecting and finding out what's working with other people and getting to an event or getting to something to help find that belief when you're struggling. That helps me.
Yes. Huge.
yeah, and I would say too, I just moved. And so my, my whole like community has been, rocked a little bit, but obviously I've been so fortunate. There's a huge Plexus community here in Kansas City. So connecting with them and hopefully doing a team dinner soon, because that was something we always did in Chicago, was a team dinner, where you can go and you can talk about work, but then also just enjoy each other. And then I just want to reiterate, because this was my question and probably the one I struggle with the most is balance. But the one thing with kind of like piggybacking on the balance and the power partners, like if I need something, I have a power partners group. We're all senior rubies and we're all on underneath a different diamond. So it's super cool to have like different ideas and what different teams are doing. So if you don't know who you should reach out to in building that power partner group, ask your diamonds and say, hey, or most of us are obviously under Emily or someone, or Stacy or Tiffany, asking them, okay, who would you recommend that I power partner with? Because that has really helped me go to them to get an answer for like something that I'm looking for, whether it's a contest or I need a training call for this. And when I was really just exhausted from the move, and it's kind of hard to pour into your team when your cup's not very full. So I reached out to my power partners and they've actually done Zoom calls for my team. So they've continually, like, I just have guests on my calls and just have guests be the ones that are pouring into my team when I can't. And so it's been very helpful. So there's just a couple ideas.
Yes. I think that's huge. I feel like my team gets sick of me. They don't say anything, but I'm sure they get sick of me talking all the time. So those are awesome recommendations. Anybody else want to share anything, whether it's power partners or team page things? Reaching out authentically. Anybody have tips, questions they want to add?
I don't really have anything to add, but I think it's awesome points and very helpful. Like balance is definitely something that I struggle with, and then struggle with how to help my team with that. And I agree with everything you said, and I thought it was really good. But
awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I think that's definitely the biggest challenge in Plexus.
I really like that you said that it was okay to take the time off. I kind of went off the grid this weekend. I had just made it to Leaders Retreat, and I took the weekend, Labor Day weekend, kind of to myself. I didn't post anything about Plexus. I didn't post anything personal. I really was just off the grid. And I like how you have to remind yourself there's no emergencies in network marketing. And then kind of come at it fresh today. So yeah, this was great, Mila.
Good. Yeah, I couldn't agree. I love that you can just, that's what I told my team member that reached out, and I had no idea that she was drowning. And I'm like, hey, like, first off, don't apologize to me. Like, you don't work for me. You need, you do what you need to do for you. And so if that's stepping away, you're going to come back stronger and better than if you just power through it. So, yeah, I actually kind of took the weekend off too, and I was up really late last night preparing for this, but you'll make up for it. Okay, anybody
I
else?
don't have anything to add, but I just wanted to say, like, so obviously I'm a power partner with Mila, and I would say that, and Kelsey, I said that she's on here too, but I would so strongly encourage, if you guys don't have power partners, to definitely get them. I totally agree with Mila. Sorry, I have bronchitis if I sound weird, but yeah, my power partners have kept me going. I feel like there's been so many times where I just felt like, I was like, oh, like you'd say like, oh, you'd want to quit or something like that. And I don't know, we have really awesome power partners. So I would suggest that everybody get power partners, because we comment daily with each other. And another thing I like about us being power partners, obviously it's not always like roses and butterflies, like I like to say, and they're kind of like, we can complain to each other and like keep everything positive on our team pages and stuff, and so it's just really refreshing. And then you find out like they're going through difficult times too or something, and so it's just refreshing. And I would highly suggest reach out to your guys' uplines or anything like that, and to get power partners that you can be close to. And I like that we're all like underneath the same diamonds, because it makes it just makes it really neat. But good job, Mila.
Thanks. You guys are a pretty easy crowd.
Well, I have a question on that note, and yes, I'm making notes for power partner ideas for my team. But how many do you think there's too many? Like, would 7 be too many? Do you think, or is 3 or 4 better, or what do you think? Sorry.
I don't think that there's really I think there can be too many for sure, because I've been on some that I'm like, all right, too much. I can't keep up with it. I don't know that there's a certain number that I would recommend. I would say more than just 1. I would say at least 4 or so. And I don't think 7 is too many. But I don't know that I would go a whole lot more than 7, because I feel like it does get overwhelming, and that's just one more, you feel like it's a stress. It's one more thing that's added onto your plate, where I think, I'm going blank. How many do we have on how many power partners do we have, Kelsey? How many?
I think there's 5.
Okay. I'm not thinking, so I mean, 5 feels very manageable, and I think a couple more probably wouldn't hurt, but I don't know that I would go much over 7 or so, but, I just got noticed we've got 1 minute left. Anybody else? Sorry.
It's been great.
Okay, awesome. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me. And I will post this. I will upload this to YouTube, and I will post it to our team page. So hope you guys have a great day.
Thanks, Mila.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
Bye.